Select. This is exciting because this is the first permanent release that we've had since 2006. In 2006, we released Small Batch, 90 proof small batch that we all know and love. Now that product, that was really the first time that we realized we had something with the 10 recipes, something special, that we could create truly unique and fundamentally different bourbons by combining different recipes and different proportions. You know, prior to that, we always had the 10 recipes, but it was always for consistency. Because with a product like bourbon, you cannot manipulate the flavor or color in any way, as you all know. So we're really at the mercy of the temperature or the weather, the wood, the ingredients, the process. There are a lot of variables that go into the final taste of the bourbon, and so it's natural. And that's really what makes it so magical, is the fact that it's all natural and you can't really adulterate it in any way. But then 2006 with Small Batch, we realized it was like a palette of flavors, these 10 recipes that we'd reach into to create something unique. And that's what we did then, and that's what we've done now, 12, 13 years later with the Four Roses Small Batch Select. Well, we've really felt like there's a need now. The consumers are getting more astute. They're demanding something a little bit different. And when I say that, what I'm looking at in particular are higher proof bourbons and non-chill filtered bourbons. Now initially this is only going to be available in five different markets, but eventually it's going to be available everywhere. For this particular product, we're utilizing 6 of our recipes. It's going to be both mash bills, the high rye mash bill, which is very high, 35% rye, 60% corn, 5% malted barley, and the lower rye mash bill, which is still a high rye mash bill at 20%, but relatively speaking, it's lower than the other. It's 20% rye, 75% corn, 5% malted barley. So it's both mash bills, and then we utilize the K yeast, the V yeast, and the F yeast of where I wanted to start with the direction for the flavor profile. And that was kind of based on some of the learning from the last 2 years, the limited editions we've done. If you look at the recipes used for like Al's 50th or the 130th, two of my top 5 favorite limited editions we've ever done. I think the magic with those was the combination between the F and the V yeast strains. Because of our yeast strains, F and Q are really unique. They're really, it doesn't take a lot of those to really influence the final flavor of the product. But something about the F I've really liked lately. The mintiness, the herbal character, the mouthfeel, the long finish. And when that F is combined with the V, which also I think gives a long finish, contributes a lot to the mouthfeel. When the F and the V come together, they create a really unique, fruity, and herbal type character that I think is really leaves a good impression. And again, a long finish. Or higher rye, because there was already enough rye with the OBSV and the OBSF. So naturally started playing with the Ks. And that's where I think we really hit on the nice balance, the perfect balance between the herbal, the minty, the fruity, and the spicy. And then at 104 proof and non-chill filtered, I think it really comes across very nicely. But what we have here in front of you are the individual recipes used for this, and these are actual batches that were used for the dump, which I think we dumped it 2 weeks ago, just bottled it last week. And
any significance behind 104?
Not really. I mean, for non-chill filtered, it's very important that you go at a higher proof so that none of those fatty compounds will solidify or come out of solution. So we want it to be above 100, and maybe on some subconscious level, Four Roses 104. But we just kind of threw that out. I personally like limited editions or barrel strength. I like between 104 and 108. That's kind of the sweet spot for my palate. And there are exceptions. I like higher proof stuff too. But that was just a nice 104.
Good round number.
Yeah. I don't want to say it was arbitrary, but I mean it could have been 105. It could have been 103.
We can assist.
You have a test blend of the limited?
Getting close. Well, yeah.
So how long has this process been going on behind the scenes to finally, till I guess Monday or Tuesday, whenever it's going to be actually released?
It's hard to really define when that began, because honestly, I do the production planning, so each year I get the sales forecast from Europe, Japan, US, and I look at our current inventory and look at what we're going to need to make each year to meet the forecasts. For about the last 4 or 5 years, knowing that we'd probably do something new at some point, I've been slipping a few more F's into the production plan, just with the hopes that with the new product, I kind of sensed or had a feeling that that's the direction we'd want to go to really differentiate the product from what we currently have. So in a sense, it's kind of been in the back of my mind, and I've told people, let's make some more F's. If we do something new in the next 3, 4, 5 years, we're going to want more of this recipe. So
you kind of like Trojan horsed it a little bit without actually telling anybody.
Maybe a little bit, but that sounds a little bit too daring, because really it was minimal risk. Because really, with like the F is in the Four Roses bourbon at a very small percentage. So say we make an extra 2 batches a year, and we didn't come out with a new product, then for the Four Roses bourbon, it could easily be absorbed by adding, going from 2% to 2.5%, and those batches will be consumed within a year.
That's all that's in Four Roses?
It varies. Yeah, it's small. The F's and the Q's are, it's V,
it's K,
V, K, and then O, and the Q and the F.
Okay.
That's why, like I was saying, a little bit of those goes a long way. Mm-hmm. That's why 20% in this really contributes a lot of that minty, that F characteristic. The idea of the F and the V combination, I think that's kind of where that came in. It was from first with the Al's 50th, and then the 130th. I think the magic behind that too is the combination between those two yeast strains. But to answer your question again, besides the Trojan horse theory that you have, I mean, going back,
it's a pretty good theory, to be honest.
It is pretty good, yeah.
Feel free to run with that one if you want to take it.
I might steal that. But we've been talking about it for probably 2 or 3 years, just knowing that probably something non-chill filtered, higher strength in the permanent lineup would be something that people would really like. But it was probably about not even quite 2 years ago that we really sat down and decided that we needed to do something. And that's when we kind of came to the lab and started tinkering with different formulations, and then went to the inventory to decide how much we could actually offer. We want to make sure that if the formulation was 100% Q and 5% F, and we can only do 10 cases a year.
Yeah,
that wasn't going to fly. Yeah. So we had to. It was a balance there, but if we weren't going to if we couldn't hit the volume with the formula that we wanted, we would have just put it off, because it was all about putting the formula first. Because obviously we're not in a big hurry. It's been 12 years since it's not like we're just throwing things out and seeing what sticks. This was well planned out. We really wanted to do the right recipes, the right eventual flavor profile, and so we're really happy with it. We think that we've hit the spot, and we hope everybody likes it.